Martell Holt has become somewhat of a lightning rod when it comes to relationship drama. From his infamous past with Melody to his connection with Sherry, Martell has found himself at the center of multiple messy situations. But now, it looks like his name has popped up again, this time in connection with the breakup of Ken and Trish. So, what's going on here? Did Martell really play a role in their breakup, or is it just another case of people dragging his name because of his history? Ken and Trish were always one of those couples that didn't make a lot of noise. They weren't in the headlines every week with a new scandal, and they didn't seem to have the kind of drama that so many other couples in the public eye deal with. On the surface, they looked like the epitome of stability, a low-key couple with no major issues. But as we've seen time and time again, things aren't always what they seem in reality TV. And now, with Ken and Trish's breakup, the drama that's been simmering under the surface is starting to come to light. And, of course, Martell's name is popping up. It's no surprise that Martell's name would come into play. Whenever there's any sort of relationship drama, he tends to find a way to insert himself, even when he's not directly involved. But let's break down what happened between Ken and Trish and see if Martell had any part to play in the downfall of their relationship. Ken, who had been noticing some strange behavior from Trish, started to wonder if something was off. The late-night phone calls, the sudden need for space, the extra effort Trish was putting into her appearance, these were all signs that something might not be right. At first, Ken tried to brush it off. Maybe he was overthinking it, maybe he was just being paranoid. But the more he observed, the more things didn't add up. And that's when Martell's name entered the conversation. Now, Martell and Trish weren't exactly strangers to each other. They had been around each other at events, and it seemed like they were pretty comfortable together. But when Ken started noticing how comfortable Trish and Martell seemed around each other, that's when his suspicions started to grow. They had long conversations at events, laughing like they shared some inside jokes that no one else was in on. Some people are just naturally friendly, but the more Ken watched, the more it seemed like there was something more going on. Trish started defending Martell when people would bring up his past, and she would light up whenever he entered the room. And then there were the text messages. We don't know exactly what those text messages said, but it was enough to make Ken believe that something was happening between Trish and Martell. Was it just a case of jealousy, or was there really something going on? That's the question that everyone started asking. At this point, Martell's track record doesn't exactly help his case. We all know the man has a history of being involved in relationship drama, and it's not just a coincidence that his name keeps popping up in these messy situations. His marriage to Melody fell apart because of his infidelity, and he was seen with Sherry, who is also no stranger to relationship drama. So when Ken started noticing all these signs, it was hard not to think that Martell might be involved in some way. But here's where things get even messy. After Ken confronted Martell in public at an event, the situation took a turn. Ken wasn't having it. He was upset, and it was clear that he believed something was going on between Trish and Martell. Martell, on the other hand, tried to play it cool. He laughed it off, like it was no big deal. But Ken wasn't backing down, and that's when things really started to unravel. But the most interesting part came afterward. Trish, instead of addressing the situation head-on, unfollowed both Ken and Martell on social media. Now, that's a red flag in itself. If you've done nothing wrong, why would you just disappear like that? Why wouldn't you stand up for yourself and clear the air? Instead, Trish started posting cryptic messages about protecting her peace and how some people don't deserve your energy. What does that even mean? It was like she was trying to deflect from the situation without actually addressing it. And that's when things got even weirder. Ken went silent. No more interviews, no more public statements. Nothing. It was like he just gave up and ended the relationship. If he truly believed that something was going on between Trish and Martell, wouldn't he have kept pushing for answers? Wouldn't he have aired out all the dirty laundry for everyone to see? But no, he just moved on. What really happened? Did Martell and Trish cross the line, or was Ken just letting his insecurities get the best of him? The timing of everything, Trish's strange behavior, her cryptic posts, and the confrontation, makes it all seem suspicious. But we'll never know for sure unless someone comes forward with concrete evidence. On one hand, it's possible that Ken's paranoia got the best of him. It's not uncommon for someone to start overthinking things when they feel like their partner is pulling away. Maybe Trish was acting differently, but it wasn't because of Martell. Maybe she was just going through something personal and didn't want to talk about it. But then again, there's the other possibility, that Martell did cross a line. After all, he's done it before, and he has a reputation for being involved in messy situations. Could he have done the same thing with Trish? Let's consider both possibilities. First, if Ken was just being paranoid, it makes sense that he would start overanalyzing everything. If Trish was acting differently, if she was being more secretive, it could have triggered his jealousy. But here's the thing, Ken doesn't have a history of being that type of guy. He wasn't known for being overly jealous or dramatic, so why would he suddenly start accusing Trish without any real proof? Now, on the flip side, there's the possibility that Martell and Trish were actually involved. If we look at Martell's history, it wouldn't be surprising. He's always found a way to get involved in other people's relationships, and his track record isn't exactly squeaky clean. Plus, Trish's reaction, or lack thereof, is pretty telling. Instead of shutting the rumors down, she disappeared from social media and started posting cryptic messages. That's not the behavior of someone who's innocent. So, what's the truth? Honestly, we may never know. Maybe it's a little bit of both. Maybe Ken was feeling insecure, and Trish was acting in a way that made him question things. Maybe Martell did cross a line, but we'll never get the full story unless someone decides to speak up. But what's clear is that Ken and Trish's relationship has been through something that's left them both questioning what really happened. And as for Martell, well, he's still out here, living his best life, making headlines for all the wrong reasons. It's like he's always at the center of someone else's drama, and this situation is no different. Whether he was involved or not, the fact that his name keeps popping up in these messy situations tells us that he's always going to be a part of the conversation. What do you all think? Do you believe Martell was messing around with Trish, or do you think Ken's insecurities ruined his relationship? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it.